Hi guys, it's Abby here from Hello Future, and today we're going to be talking about the different pathways into higher education. So we're going to be looking at all the different routes that you guys can take and all the options that are available to you guys to progress on to higher education, whether that be university or a degree or higher apprenticeship. So on the screen now you can see all of our partners. So we work alongside these partners to give you all the information you need to make an informed choice about your future, with the ultimate goal that you'll go on to higher education, whether that be a degree apprenticeship, a higher apprenticeship, or by going to university. So we're now just going to look at the aims and outcomes for today's session, and we're going to revisit these at the end to see how we've met these. So the first one is to explore the different pathways that you can take after you finish your GCSEs. The next is to understand that these different routes can all lead on to higher education. There's not a right or wrong route to take. And finally, we're going to identify which pathway you might be interested in taking, and this is completely personal and you can pick what is best for you. So on screen now you will see the different levels of education, and you might be able to identify where you are on this. So you might be around level 2, just starting or doing your GCSEs. So we're going to look a little bit further up this to level 3, which is further education. So as you can see, further education includes A-levels, it includes taking a vocational route of doing BTECs, and it also includes apprenticeships. So if you complete any of these routes, you will come out with a level 3 qualification. There is also a new route that you can take, which isn't on the screen at the moment, and that is T-levels. And we're going to talk about these in a little bit more depth later on in the session. So in terms of taking your next steps, you might be still a little unsure of which path is going to be right for you. So you might also be a little bit more familiar with some of these pathways. For example, the A-level pathway you might know a little bit about already through school, but you may not know as much about, for example, apprenticeships. So we're going to go through each of these different pathways and talk about the pros and cons to each pathway. And then we're going to hear from a student who has taken each of the different pathways to give you a little bit more of an insight, which will hopefully make it easier for you making your next decision. So one pathway that you might pick to take is A-levels, and these can be studied at a college or a sixth form, and you usually take 3 to 4 subjects. So this is the route that I actually took, and one of the great things is it puts off that decision making process. So for example, I studied history, philosophy and ethics and biology at sixth form, so they were range of different courses, so it puts off having to choose and commit to what you want to do next. So one of the benefits is that you can study a wide range of subjects. Another benefit of A-levels is that some higher education institutions do still prefer these to other qualifications. So not all higher education institutions, but some do. So if you know that you definitely want to go to university, this might be a good route for you to take. However, A-levels do have their disadvantages as well. So one disadvantage is if you take A-levels that are not compatible with each other. So for example, going back to me, I took history, philosophy and ethics and biology. And midway through studying, I decided I wanted to do biology at university, but because I only had one science subject, I was really limited to where I could go. So that is something to really bear in mind when picking your A-levels. As well as this, there is limited opportunities for work experience. There are some opportunities for you to go out and get it, but other routes provide work experience as part of the course. And finally, A-levels aren't for everyone. If you don't enjoy studying in that conventional way like you have been through your GCSEs, then this pathway might not be the right one for you.
So for my A-levels, I decided to do English language, psychology and sociology, and I completed these at sixth form. So I chose these subjects because I always knew that I wanted to do a degree in primary teaching, and I know that for a lot of universities you don't need a specific subject in order to do this course, so I just decided to choose subjects that I enjoyed and that I know that I would do well in. A-levels were a really good choice for me because Although I know that I could have gotten onto this course by also doing certain college courses such as childhood studies or early education studies, I thought that doing A-levels would open more doors for me. So although I've always wanted to become a primary school teacher, I know that people do change their mind and they find other things that they enjoy. So by doing A-levels, it did open a lot more doors. I also did a lot of sixth form placements at primary schools and lots of work experience in different age groups and things like that. So that meant that when it was time to apply to university via UCAS, I was really clear that that is what I wanted to do. So after A-levels, I have gone on to do my degree in primary education, and I've completed this at the University of Cumbria in Lancaster. I'm currently actually on my last week of the course, so I have finished my final 3 years, and in September I shall have my first class all by myself and use the skills that I've learned on the course and placement in practice.
So another route that you might consider taking is the vocational route, where you study a BTEC qualification at college in lots of detail. So these courses are really good if you've got a specific career path in mind. For example, if you are wanting to go on to the police, you might study public services. If you're wanting to work in the healthcare industry, you might study health and social care. And a real big benefit of these is that they can include work experience. So not only are you getting that really in-depth knowledge of the area, you're also getting some industry specific knowledge by going in and getting that work experience. As well, a lot of unis now offer vocational courses, so you can finish your course at college and go on to study it in even more depth at a university. So some limitations of taking this route are that you need to check that your local college offers the course that you're wanting to do. So not every course will be offered at every college. In addition, a small amount of unis may not accept a BTEC qualification if you are wanting to pursue higher education. And finally, because the courses are so in-depth, it makes it harder to change your mind if you decide you don't want to do that course anymore, or if you decide that you want to study something else at higher education.
Hi, I'm Matthew. I study public services at Lancaster Morecambe College. I like studying my course because it gives me in-depth knowledge of how to get into the police force and other services. After I've done this course, I want to go to university. This will help me get into the police force and know more knowledge about what I need to do.
Apprenticeships are also another really popular route for you to get your level 3 qualification, and they're really popular especially with big employers like BAE and Sellafield. So apprenticeships give the opportunity for you to be able to earn and learn. So you're getting paid to study, which is really good. As well, it gives you a chance to get industry specific knowledge. So you're getting first-hand experience of the industry that you're working in. And finally, with the addition of higher and degree apprenticeships, you can go on to get a degree level qualification that is paid for by your employer. However, there are some cons of this route as well. For example, if you finished your apprenticeship and decided that you wanted to go on to university, it could be more complicated for you to do so. And also, this should be a well-considered option because it is very specific. So make sure that you really want to work in that industry before you start applying onto apprenticeship schemes.
Best thing about the course? Well, obviously you're learning as you're doing it. So I'm at college and I'm getting paid to be here. And with an apprenticeship, you're learning by doing. Whereas other things you'd have to learn and then go into it. When I was at sixth form, no one pushed me towards apprenticeships. Wish someone was there to push me towards it, because if I did, I'd have gone into it a lot sooner. I've learnt and I've been paid to learn, so I can't think of anything better than that.
So the final pathway we're going to look at is T-levels. And this is a brand new qualification for you guys. So you may never have heard of it before this session, which is absolutely fine because they're so new. So these are going to be equivalent to 3 A-levels. So 1 T-level will equal 3 A-levels. and there will be a wide range of subjects that you will be able to pick from agriculture to law to engineering. And the really great thing about T-levels is that you'll get the in the classroom learning as well as work placement. So it gets over that barrier of A-levels not having enough work experience opportunities. So doing a T-level, you will get the opportunity to do work experience. So this is one of the benefits of T-levels, is that it gets you out of the classroom and into that work environment. So it kind of combines the benefits of an apprenticeship and an A-level. However, because this qualification is so new, there is a chance that it won't be recognised by employers and higher education institutions straight away, just because they might be unaware of it. So something that I've also put on the screen underneath pro and con is that the T-levels offered in your area may depend on geography. So for example, if you live somewhere with a big industry for engineering, the likelihood is there will be a lot of T-levels offered in engineering. So if you want to go into engineering, that's great, but if you wanted to study something else, for example marine biology, that course may not be available in your area. So that's just something to bear in mind. I would definitely recommend T-levels as an option and something to look into whilst you're starting to do your research about your next steps. So this screenshot that you can see on the screen now is just taken from the government website. So if T-levels are something that you're interested in or interested in learning a little bit more about, then I'd really recommend heading over to the government website and typing in T-levels and just looking in a little more depth about what the qualification will entail and the different qualifications that are going to be offered for you. So I've just put this question on the screen of what now? So we've covered a lot of content today, and you might be thinking, what should I be doing with all this knowledge? So first of all, I'd recommend just having a think about what you enjoy. What do you want to study for another 2 years? This could be subjects inside of school, or it could be a hobby outside of school. And talk about this with your tutors and teachers at school, or whoever it is at home. Next, think about which of the pathways that I've spoken about today will allow you to study your passion for the next 2 years. Once you've identified this, start researching your colleges and sixth forms and apprenticeship providers too to see what courses they offer. If university is the ultimate goal for you, think about what entry requirements you might need to get onto a specific course. Have a Google and see what you can find. Similarly, if a higher apprenticeship is what you want to do, start having a look what requirements you will need to meet to be accepted. If you're still feeling a little unsure of what you want to do, there's a really useful resource on our website. So if you head to www.hellofuture.ac.uk and then click on our blogs and case studies, and then case studies, you will see lots of different case studies that you can read through from different people around Cumbria, and you can see what pathways they took and where that led. So that just might be something worth checking out. As well, if you want more specific help, you can click the chat with us function, which will pop up at the bottom of the page, where you can talk to any of the Hello Future staff and ask them anything you want to know about higher education. So on the screen now is the aims and outcomes that I covered at the beginning of the session, and you may remember that I said I'd come back to these at the end. So hopefully now you're able to identify the different pathways that are available to you. So the pathways that we have gone through are A-levels, T-levels, apprenticeships and BTECs. And hopefully you'll know that these pathways are all different but can all lead on to higher education if that's what you would like to do. And hopefully from hearing all this information you feel more confident in what you need to go away and do next to think about which of these paths is right for you. So that is everything for today's session. I hope that you've enjoyed it and you feel a little bit more confident about your next steps after school. To keep in contact with us, please do follow our social media accounts. So you can find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram by typing in @HelloFutureCCOP. You can also head over to our website www.hellofuture.ac.uk to see all the online resources we have for you guys to access for free. Thanks for listening and see you soon. Bye guys!